everybody, this is David B69. Hope everybody is doing fine today. I didn't come up with any idea. This idea is basically took reference to kind of like taking a flavor from Square Pegs. Square Pegs did a video a couple weeks ago saying these are the must-have sport games to have in your library. And I'm like, I really love that. That's great. I love sports games. I want to add things to my library. But then I'm like, is that really saying enough? And then Steve Craig Retro Games basically did his own video based off of what Square Pegs did. And he's like, I love it. I'm going to do my top 10 must-have sport games. And I'm like, dude, you're speaking my language. I'm loving it even more. But I need to go to another level. What I am doing is I am going to do my top sport games on disc. And then I'm going to do my top sports games retro, which means it has to be cartridge based. If the game is not a cartridge, it is not included in today's video. So today's video, we are going to do the retro cartridge games that are the best sports games. Now, how am I breaking it up? First rule, no racing games. As much as people don't like sports games, I don't like racing games that much. I like to play them, but am I going to be able to give you a good, honest opinion and have a knowledge of it? I know nothing about cars. I like playing the games, but I'm kind of a dummy at it. So I'm not going to give you an intelligent answer for these games. I can tell you the Mario Kart games are fun. There you go. But I'm just not going to be able to give you what you really, really need to know about what games are good and what games are bad. Now, some of the sport games, I broke them down even further. I basically said, what is the best arcade game and what is the best simulation for each of these sports? Now, like I said, I'm not doing every single sport, and I'm not going to break down each one into an arcade and sim, but a lot of them I am. So, I mean, I hope this is enjoyable for you. Like I said, I'm going to do 2 videos. I'm going to do one with the retro cartridge based, and I'm going to do the other one with disc that only goes up to PS3. I figured it gives it enough room, and nobody wants to go to the PS4 level because that kind of like gets like kind of crazy at that point. I really, really do like the PS3 games. That's why I kind of like cheated my way in pushing them into the game. It's like, honestly, I believe it was Square Pegs that put I think he put a few PS4, PS5 type games in his list. I will not be doing so. I will not put anything for the Switch, any of that. Even though the Switch is a cartridge, it is not included in this because it's not old and retro. Basically, the newest games we'll have are like Nintendo 64, and that as far as we go with this list for today's list for the cartridge base. Now, of course, there's cross thing and everything where there's like PS1 and Saturn games that came out, and they were out at the same time as the Nintendo 64 was. But don't worry, there was no crossover here. We're going to be perfectly fine. And I really, really have delved into my list. I mean, so much so, it's taken me 2 weeks to develop this. So this hasn't been something that I quickly made. It's been something that has been going through, and I was crossing out. I'm like, this one. Really, even to the last second, I made some changes, and I got to tell you, it's really hard to make such a list. So if you do make something, or you just want to comment down below, please do so. I really do appreciate any feedback I get, and I love the community, okay? Really do appreciate it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do sports of baseball. And the best arcade game, in my opinion, without a doubt, that is sports related, that is a cartridge, is Major League Baseball, featuring Ken Griffey Jr. Anybody, if you've played Ken Griffey Jr. baseball, you know it is an arcadey game, and it is like the best. It's my best overall, and for all time, for arcade, from my standpoint, because I can play this all the time and everything. And some people like to play sim and stuff and everything, and some people like to play arcade. They find this more enjoyable because it is so arcadey, and it involves doing a whole entire season and like doing a lot of huge things. I really love Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. So it's like really, really cool. The next game would be the sim version. It's like, and you're like thinking to yourself, well, what sim game is going to be like thing? It's like a stretch, but it is a sim game. You could play an entire 162 game season, and I really like it. And that is MLB PA baseball. It's like, honestly, I was fighting with myself. Trying to go, it's like Tony La Russa baseball. Which game do I go with? Do I go the next level and try to go in Nintendo 64? I decided not to, because in my opinion, this is the best for simulation type gameplay, and I really like this game a lot. So I would have to go with MLPPA baseball on the Genesis. So that's my top game for baseball on the Genesis for this. Now we're going to go football. Football arcade is something that I have been arguing with myself about. It is something that I really, really enjoy, and there are a lot of great football games that are sims. And it's like, the first game that I was thinking of was Tecmo Super Bowl. And I'm like, yeah, that's a must-have and everything, and it's a great game. And then there's all the other Tecmo Bowls on the Genesis, and it's like on the Super Nintendo, and there's like the Tecmo Bowl and a Super Tecmo Bowl on the NES, and I'm like, I really just had no idea. But then it's like, I'm like reviewing all of my football games, and I'm like, the best arcade football game, without a doubt, would have to be Mutant League Football. I'm sorry, it's just, Mutant League Football is definitely up there as the top arcade football game on the Sega Genesis and for cartridge-based games. I don't think that's just my opinion. I think everybody would agree with that. The sim game, now this one's going to be a little bit controversial, because I'm like, my game, like my top game of all time, for the Sega Genesis is the first game that I ever picked up. And that is John Madden Football 93. Yes, it's like, I'm counting this as a sim game and everything. It's like, I mean, I know how crazy this game is and stuff, but I really love it. And I mean, I do enjoy playing it. Yeah, you can't play a whole season with it. You can't do all this other stuff. But you know, I'm going to go Madden 93 over anything, any day, because that's my game. It's my jam. I think they introduced schedules and stuff in like 95 or something. But I like John Madden 93. That's my jam. That's my favorite one of all time, because it's my first. So that's what I select. Next up, we got hockey. Now, again, I'm banging in my head with hockey games, trying to figure out what would I choose for arcade hockey. And for me personally, I go with NHL hockey. It's like there's only three different players on there, and it's like you can choose a lot of different things, and there's like craziness throughout the game. And it's a crazy game, but it's so much fun. I love ice hockey, and I think everybody should own a copy of ice hockey. If you have an NES and you do not have ice hockey, you're missing out. It is a great, great title. And it's like a must-have for me for an arcade hockey game. Now, as far as your simulating, I could have done the same thing with football because I got 93 for hockey at the same time as I got 93, but I decided to go a little bit, and I basically went with NHL 95. Some people will say NHL 94. You're okay. I mean, it's like, but NHL 95 had all the one-timers and stuff. The only thing it didn't have was the bloody on the ice and things like that. It took that away. But it does have full season mode. And it is lots of fun. And so I would basically say that NHL 95 is my top simulation hockey game without a doubt. Yeah, like I said, you could just basically say 93 or 94, but in 95, it just was fantastic. And on the cartridge base, yes, they did lift the graphics up and everything, and they got it like a little bit better and a little bit better. But in my opinion, the game deteriorated a little bit when they started getting the bigger characters because the speed of the game decreased as the character graphics increased. I really personally enjoy a good game of hockey, and I like a little bit of speed, and that basically gets me going for hockey games. So that's my opinion. Next up, we're doing a not a simulation. This is going to be the arcade version that I'm choosing, and this one could be a little controversial, but I think it really is more of a simulation and an arcade than a simulation. And that is International Superstar Soccer. And that is on the Nintendo 64. It's very arcadey. It is a lot of fun to play, but it's very, very like that. It's basically like just a lot of back and forth soccer. Yeah, I really wish I could put on some of my disc-based games when I used to get when I first had my first IBM computer, and we had trying to figure out the name of the series and stuff. It was something hockey, but you were able to. You only had 4 stats categories. I think it was Pro Time Hockey or something, and they did the same thing with basketball OmniPlay. They had OmniPlay basketball, but I don't know if it was called OmniPlay Hockey. Somebody will remember what it was called back then. But it's like I played all those PC games and like hockey and basketball. They did a bunch of that, and it was just so much fun back then because you could basically have your own leagues and just go on for season after season, and it was just such a blast. So that's my arcade game for soccer. My simulation soccer game, it's going to be FIFA 96. I really liked the FIFA 96. It had a lot of cool stuff. They improved the game to the point where it was its fastest, in my opinion, and it was the smoothest. Again, I could have went something with Nintendo 64 and stuff, but it's like at this point, this was the best for me, in my opinion, and because like you know how it is, the graphics go up and everything, and I already said it and everything, and the speed of the game goes down. I don't like when a sim makes something slower. It just doesn't work for me as a gamer when I'm trying to play all these games. Next up, and you know it's basketball, and we know it's arcade, and everybody's going to say the exact same thing. I mean, it's just a rule. And if you hear my cat scratching and going nuts, I apologize. They do that. They just like to run around when I'm down here. So the arcade game, of course, is going to be NBA Jam Tournament Edition. There is no other options. It's like you got to go to Tournament Edition if you're going to go NBA Jam. Yes, the regular NBA Jam is a lot of fun too, but the Tournament Edition is a little bit more fun. There's some codes and some other things that you can do to add like a bunch of players. I think like Bill Clinton and stuff like that was available in this game. It was crazy and a lot of fun. So I highly recommend it. NBA Jam Tournament Edition is pure, fast pace, crazy, boom shakalaka. He's on fire. You get my drift. It was an incredible game. For simulation for basketball, I'm gonna go with NBA Courtside 2. Now, like I said, normally it's like you have the graphics and the games go slower and stuff with the graphics. My opinion, NBA Courtside 2 with Kobe Bryant, it was smooth, it was fast, and it was a lot of fun to play. And this is like one of the best games and stuff, basketball games, that was ever made for NBA basketball games. So in my opinion, this would be my game that I would go with, NBA Courtside 2. Next up, we got bowling. And you're going to ask yourself, well, how can you have anything entertaining that's bowling? And it's like, especially on cartridge-based, because cartridge-based games with bowling, it's few and far between. It is really just out there that it's like or eh. It really, there's not anything great. But I went with the Brunswick Tournament of Champions. I found that this is a fun game. It's definitely fun. And this is for the Super Nintendo. And this was, I got this complete in box from a Video Games Monthly box. And it's still today, it's my favorite bowling game. Again, there's no sim or anything else like that. I don't even know how you would have sim in a bowling game. Who knows? But boxing would be next. And boxing is easy. If you're going to go with boxing, you got to go with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. It's not even close. I hate my label there. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, without a doubt, is the best boxing game for anybody and everything on the cartridge base. I was trying to look and everything. There's some other games and stuff that are good, really good, but they're not Punch-Out good. So I looked around. I was going to go Super Punch-Out, but I kind of want to, I throw back to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out a little bit more. So, but it's all good. I mean, if you feel differently, that's why everybody has opinions. That's why you leave those comments down below and we can just go at it. Next up is tennis. This was a toughie. There's a lot of good tennis games, but in my opinion, on the cartridge-based tennis game, this is like a really weird one and out there, but I found myself playing this game a lot back in the day, and that is Jennifer Capriati Tennis. It's kind of like really weird that Jennifer Capriati Tennis would be the best tennis game for me. But I just had so much fun playing people and playing in the computer. It is just smooth tennis. And I really just enjoyed the controls and just enjoyed the gameplay. I thought graphically it was a great game. So yeah, Jennifer Capriati Tennis on the Sega Genesis. Next up, we're doing the arcade for golf. Arcade or golf, you knew exactly where I was going. I mean, it's like if you didn't know where I was going with arcade and golf, I mean, there's something wrong. You got to go Mario Golf. I mean, it's just not even close. You got to go Mario Golf. Like 7 days a week, Mario Golf is the best golf game for arcade in the genre. I really just, there's not even close. But for me, for simulation, it would go PGA Tour 3. Has a bunch of courses. I think it's like 8 tournament club courses, plus 4 other EA kind of courses. It's, like I said, a lot of fun, a lot of pros, and you just basically spend so much time on this game. Is it the smoothest and fastest in the world? No. But is it the best simulation golf that you can have in a cartridge? I say it is, because, I mean, like, the Nintendo 64 has Pebble Beach and stuff, golf, but that's the problem. It's just one course plus some other courses. This has all those different courses, and it's a little bit more fun to play, in my opinion. So I really enjoy it. PGA Tour Golf 3 for that's my simulation game. One last game, and that's going to be a wrestling title. There was like some other games that I really wanted to choose here, but I chose not to. My favorite game for wrestling is going to be WWF Warzone. For me personally, I've had my most fun playing these games. I didn't have these games originally when they first came out, so I don't have any kind of storyline or any kind of other thing with that. But replaying all these games, I really like Warzone the best. I don't know what it is. I just found that it was the most enjoyable for me. So that's why I went with it. So WWF Warzone for the Nintendo 64 is my top wrestling game. And basically, that's it. What do you think for these categories is your top for arcade and sim and vice versa for all these different genres? Like I said, I didn't want to put racing down. There's plenty of great racing games, but like I said, I'm not a car expert, so I'm not going to be the one that tells you what is the best and what is not the best. I can tell you what's the most enjoyable, but I really didn't want to go there because, I mean, a lot of the top racing games, in my opinion, for this, I mean, I would probably go with either Forza 4 or the Gran Turismo 5 or 6 on the what's called for the disc side, and I probably would go like Cruisin' for the cartridge. I would probably like Cruisin' World or something, or Cruisin' Exotica. I don't. These are just numbers that are coming out of the top of my head. I mean, and it's like, if I had to do arcade ones, I, of course, do the Mario Kart games. So, there you go. I mean, there's really just no point in trying to think of it and mention it. So, until next time, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you don't mind. And also, I'd really appreciate a share, but I expect more, a comment. I really do like chatting with everybody. So until next time, this is David B69, and I'm out.